Wow. Now it feels like a meeting, all right? The head poobah is here. We're going to figure out what we're going to do with the next. Oh, wow, there's so many people. The fire marshal doesn't know about this. I didn't realize how many people were jammed on to the left. You're like, whoa, wow, okay. I hope nobody has to pee ever in that area. I like it. It's my first time here, the Attic Comedy Club, and I like it when comedy clubs have a name that's spot on. You know, there's no surprises. You're like, we're going to the attic. There will be stairs, all right? I hope no one showed up and went, stairs? Really? It should have been a dead giveaway. This is wonderful. This is my first, I don't know this neighborhood. It looks like you guys are trying to decide which way you're going to go with it. I don't know, you know? I'm not here to judge. I just did a couple laps and I'm like, yeah, okay, whoa, all right, yeah. It's very, you know? Like the mayor just kind of went, I don't know, man, whatever. Just do what you feel. So it's good. I've been to Columbus before. I think I did a show at a church. I think that's where it was, the Rivers Crossing Church, maybe. It's like a big-ass church. And that's not how it was advertised on Google. It's big. It was very big. I was surprised. And I think that was in Columbus or just outside. But it's good. You guys are named after Christopher, probably. Maybe. I love that you don't know. I love that. You guys are like, are we? He just checked with his wife. He's like, are we? Is that? Is it Christopher? There's also a Philip, isn't there? Good old Philip Columbus. He's the first one to bring agriculture to Ohio. Good old Philip. I like Christopher. Wait, I forget how we feel about him. You guys ever do that? You ever remember someone from history and you're like, wait, did he get canceled after death? If you get canceled 500 years later, that's, you know, you did your best. For what? Like if they didn't know for 500 years, and then they're like, wait a second, you know. He was the guy that found out the earth was round, you know, 500 years ago. And then up until 10 years ago, someone with a YouTube page was like, it's actually flat. I don't know if you guys know that. That's an argument now. There's people that are like, no, it's flat. And you're like, that's so, oh man, what an idiot Columbus is. How did he get over there? He went to the middle part. That's how. That's how. Anyway, it's very good to be here. I had a very weird day. I woke up I went to sleep at like midnight. I tried to go to sleep early because I had an early flight, but my wife's like, really, we're not gonna watch TV? And I'm like, yeah, we're gonna watch some TV. So we watched Only Murderers in the Building. Nice. Yeah, love that show. Love it. I just want to dress like Steve Martin. That's my only goal. Steve Martin in that, do you know how he dresses? I love that show. I think that's the life goal of all of us in this room. We want to live in an apartment and not have a job. They don't have a job. I don't know what their jobs are on Only Murderers in the Building. Of just not murdering people. I guess they make enough money to do that. But Steve Martin looks so damn classy. And I'm like, I want a little piece of that. You know? Just the attire, not Steve Martin. And as soon as I said it, I was like, whoa, I'm coming in really hitting on Steve Martin. But so we stayed up late watching that, and I woke up at 3:30 in the morning to go to the airport. So I don't know if I really... Do you ever do that, where you go to sleep so late and wake up so early? You're like, I don't know if I even fell asleep. It was one of those where I think I just blinked too long. Was that a dream or a thought? I don't know. And that's what happened. The Lyft picked me up, and I went to the airport early because I got a new credit card that lets me into the lounge. So I go to the airport an hour early so I can get those free eggs. Otherwise, I feel like I'm wasting this credit card. And it's not even, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a lounge. It's fine. You know, I think the only good part is they don't let kids in there. Because, you know, no one wants to waste their free pass on a kid. So it's just no kids in there. But the food is just food you would get. It's free breakfast from like a hotel. You know, you ever stay at like a Fairfield Inn, and then you're like, whoa, how do they get those eggs that sweaty? it's a lot of that, but I feel like I'm being treated better because I have a purple credit card. And they're not allowed in here. So I went early, I got the sweaty eggs. And I hopped on my flight and got to Cleveland, and I didn't realize that that's not close. I do my own routing, and I have a show Sunday in in Sandusky, and then so I'm like, that's also not near? Wow, I really messed this whole thing up. My wife laughs at me so much because I'm so disorganized. She's like, wait, you're not going on no sleep, and do you have a long drive when you land? And I go, no, it's Columbus, Christopher and Cleveland, they know each other. They're right there, don't worry about it. And she's like, are you sure? And I'm like, yeah. And then she's like, do you have everything set up? And I looked, no hotels booked, nothing. That's who I am, and I'm just last second like, I need a place to stay in Columbus. And so then no sleep, hop in a rental car, and I just want a coffee, because I'm about to kill everybody on the highway. Because I know I'm one of those people. I won't just crash myself and be like, let's take that minivan out. So I just saw Starbucks on one of the freeway come off over here situations, and the advertisements. So I pulled over, got in there, and there's like a line, and when you're in public and you're like, people can tell that I haven't slept, and I'm just kind of waddling like this. Have you ever been intoxicated while not being intoxicated? Just kind of that. It was that lack of sleep that I was telling my order to myself in my head before it was my turn, so I wouldn't just go up there and go, huh. It was one of those. So I'm in my head going, you're going to get a bacon, egg, and Gouda sandwich, and you're going to get a sweet cream cold brew. That's what you're going to get. So I'm just standing there going, bacon, egg, Gouda sandwich, sweet cream cold brew. And I know me, and I know my face was showing it to everybody else. So everyone's just standing there. I'm just looking, sweet cream cold brew. I was so ready. I had the order memorized in my head. I'm holding my credit card. That's how ready I am. I'm not gonna dig around. That pair of shorts had a zipper on the pocket. I'm not messing around with it. I'm holding my credit card, going. And then it's my turn, and the lady behind the counter goes, "Ooh, are you paying with credit card?" I'm like, "Uh-huh." And she goes, "Our system is down. You can only pay through the app or cash." And I went, bacon, egg, Gouda sandwich, sweet cream cold brew. And she threw me for a loop with that, because I'm like, we didn't plan this, And she just said, I can't, you can't, I don't, And I just remember I paused for way too long. And then I finally said, I don't have either of those things. And she goes, I'm so sorry. And I went, okay. And then I waddled out of the Starbucks to go drive more. I had never been in a situation like that before, where it was so bizarre, because it was like, I felt like I was in no man's land, because it was like the most modern way to pay, like through an app, which I'm like, I don't have the Starbucks app, or like I'm buying heroin in an alley, just cash. And you're like, nothing with this? Venmo, PayPal, anything. I don't know. So that was that, and then I finally made it to the hotel, checked in. I slept from like 11 to 3, and then I got up, went to go work out, which was cool. Went to the old hotel gym and did a half hotel gym workout. And I don't know if you guys ever work out at a hotel, but when someone else comes into the hotel gym, that you just hate that person forever. You're like, what? You too? Like, there can't be two lonely people at this hotel, And so there's another person there, and I'm like, I hate you. And afterwards, I went to go get a salad at the bistro. It's a Courtyard Marriott, which I like the Courtyard Marriott because they have food there that you can buy, and they have a Mediterranean grain bowl. I stay at a lot of Marriotts. I know the menu. I don't even look. I don't have to do I'm like, Mediterranean grain bowl, chicken, please. And they gave it to me, and I went up to my room, and they gave me a spoon and a knife. And I ate my salad with a spoon and a knife like a psychopath. Like I think that's how serial killers get ready for their evening's activities. They sit there and eat a salad with a spoon, go, oh, I'm gonna kill someone good tonight, you know? And I was just, that's what today's been. That's what today's been. It's just been, you can't get a coffee, here's a spoon for your salad. And as soon as I got up here, I looked at the stairs, I'm like, that's right, the attic. All right, yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, shared it, subscribed to it, hit the notification bell, do all the things YouTube makes you want to do. Other than that, I wanted to let you know that I'm constantly on tour, so go to my website, zoltancomedy.com, and see if I'm coming to a town near you. Thank you kindly.
Try a bunch of new things. I don't like trying new things because I usually get hurt. That's the problem. I get hurt or sick. I just have bad luck. I don't know what it is. Like every time I try to be adventurous, the world is like, see? This is why you shouldn't. Like I remember in Mexico, a few years ago, I crashed a scooter in Mexico, and I shouldn't be on a scooter. I shouldn't be on 2 wheels. I need 4 wheels at all times. 4 wheels. All the time. But I made a new friend. You ever make a new friend and they have a suggestion and you don't want to seem lame, so you just go along with it? That's what happened. We were flying home that day and I made a new friend. And he's like, hey, you want to rent some scooters? Go around the island? I'm like, hell yeah! Let's go rent some scoots. Let's get out there. And because I thought there would be like a tutorial video or something. Because one time I rented jet skis and they made us watch like a 15-minute VHS on how to work a jet ski, and they had all the safety gear, and I was like, that's what I thought this was going to be, and it wasn't. We just went to a shack, and a little Mexican man threw keys at us, and that was the end of the seminar. That was the whole thing, and it was so bad. Like, there was no safety gear, there was just a helmet that didn't fit. Like, that's all there was, and once we got out there, like, the helmet, like, the wind took it back, and the little rope would, like, choke me out. That was all of the safety. But I didn't even know how to turn this bike on. I was sitting on the bike trying to turn it on and nothing was happening. My friends were already like doing wheelies and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm right behind you. And I'm trying to get it going. It's not going. And the little Mexican man that rented it to me, he comes out and he sees I'm having trouble. And he's like, are you good? And I'm like, no, it's no vroom vroom, you know? Because we were speaking broken English and Spanish back at each other. We're trying to understand, but we can't understand. He's like, and I'm like, no vroom vroom. There's no vroom vroom. He's like, oh, vroom vroom. And I'm like, yeah, man, where's the vroom vroom? And he hit a button I didn't see, and the thing fired up. I'm like, yeah, vroom vroom. He's like, see, vroom vroom. And I'm like, is this the brake? And he just shoved me off into traffic. So there I am, downtown Cozumel, Mexico, rush hour traffic. And I could feel in my heart this was going to end well, you know? It was like watching a horror movie. You're like, when's it coming? I know it's coming, but when? It happened on a right turn. That's when it happened. I made a right turn, and halfway into it I realized, I don't know how to make a right turn. I don't know, there was no training. Am I supposed to drop a knee like it's a sports bike and I'm on like the Grand Prix of Budapest or something? Like, what do you want me to do? So I just made a turn and I was like, wow, we're gonna crash into the median. And my calculations were spot on. I nailed that median. And I went flying. The helmet was on the back of my head, like a concrete yarmulke back there, just holding on. And I crashed. I destroyed half the bike. And I'm not wearing protective gear other than this little bike helmet. So I'm just in shorts and a t-shirt. So I'm bleeding from everywhere, all right? My knee, my hand, really bad. Some of the locals had gathered to cuss at me in Spanish, which is good. That's what you need after an accident. Some hecklers. All right. That's very helpful. So I very quickly tried to pick up the bike and get it out of the street because everyone's yelling at me and I'm bleeding. And I picked it up by the handlebars. Remember, that's the vroom vroom area. Which, can I say, what a piss poor design that is. Maybe some pedals next time. Maybe something away from where I got to pick it up from. And I went to go pick it up and my hand hit the throttle and this thing shot out of my hands. And it went down half a block without me on it. And I smashed the other side. I destroyed the scooter, you guys. There's no plastic left on it. The mirrors are gone. I'm bleeding. And I walked it back to the rental shack in shame. And the dude who rented it saw me coming. He saw him all messed up, the bike's destroyed, and he ran out with all the English he knew. He just goes, "What? What happened?" And I was so offended that he would even ask that. I'm like, what do you mean what happened? Like, why didn't you have a tutorial video or something? I could have used a couple blocks, whips around the block before you sent me out there. And so he's like assessing the damage, and he's like, I'm like, how much is this gonna be? And he's like, it's gonna be 10,000 pesos. And I'm like, I don't know how much that is. Like, I don't keep up with the world currency markets, That could be $1, that could be $1 million. I have no idea. And he just kept saying 10,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos. So I just pulled out my Visa, and I'm like, well, try that. Give that a try, And he swiped it, and I'm like, did it work? And he's like, see. And I'm like, no shit. All right. Apparently I had at least a 10,000 peso limit on the old Visa. We got out of there. Now, if you remember, I said I was flying home that day, so I had to catch a flight after that. I don't know if anyone here has gone to the airport bleeding. It's not ideal, all right? So we hailed a cab, we jump in the back. The driver looks back, sees me all messed up, and he goes, "Oh, would you rent a scooter?" Which that made me feel a little bit better. I'm like, all right, I'm not alone, right? And I had flown out of this airport before, and in Cozumel at this airport, they have a pharmacy, one of those good Mexican pharmacies where they have all the drugs, which is great. You know what they didn't have? Bandages. It's the only pharmacy I've ever been to in the world that didn't have Band-Aids or Neosporin, anything. And she didn't speak any English. I'm like, do you have bandages? And she just kept pointing at like Viagra and like steroids. And I'm like, that's the last thing I need right now. And I'm pantomiming. I'm like, I'm bleeding. I need Band-Aids. And she just kept pointing at the Viagra. I'm like, no! You kidding? I'm about to be on a plane with strangers. Like, that's what you want to add to this problem? No one's going to want to sit next to that guy. Just some dude actively bleeding and super excited about it. Just, take a seat. I got some stories, Like, no one wants any of that. So I ended up going to the bathroom, and I just wrapped my hand and my leg in toilet paper. So for 5 hours, I just sat on an airplane just covered in toilet paper. And that's why I don't do anything. I try to keep things pretty simple. But yeah, it's so good to be here. Christmas weekend, La Jolla. Yeah. I want to know, I'm very curious, who are the local La Jollans? Clap it up. Okay, couple. Wow, all right. We really all snuck in, didn't we? I like that. I always think more locals come down here, but they're probably like at some secret party, Mick Jagger's playing an acoustic set in a wine cellar somewhere. That's probably what they're doing. They're not coming down the hill, I always feel weird coming up to La Jolla because I grew up in the trailer park, so I always feel like, it feels right and wrong at the same time, I have this feeling, I'm like, well, don't park right in front, Park it around the side and sneak in. So I drive a Honda Fit, like it's just gonna look like someone's housekeeper stuck around. I wanna feel like a local, But I like it. It's Christmas. It's gonna be a good Christmas because we don't. I love it, but we don't have any young people in my family anymore, so no one tries anymore. Like I called my mom. I have a tiny Hungarian mother. I'm like, you want to hang out on Sunday? And she's like, Christmas? I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, yeah, we should all hang out. She goes, okay, but I don't have a tree. And I'm like, we don't need a tree. And she's like, good. I don't even think she's cooking anything. Like, I think she's just gonna treat it like a Sunday. I think that's when I'm gonna show up and there's gonna be Panda Express on the table. And she goes, double order orange chicken, correct? Mama knows, That's who my mom is. No longer celebrates it. I like it. My fiance and I, Emma, we decided not to do gifts this year, like fancy gifts. We decided to just give each other what we need, And I didn't need anything, and she needed a root canal, so that's what we ended up doing. And which is a better gift. I'd rather pay for that, Because last year I bought jewelry. I bought her a nice necklace. I think the year before with some earrings or a bracelet or something. And I like stuff that you need, you know? And you know what? There is nothing more beautiful than all of your teeth. You could have all the diamonds on the world all over your body, but if you're missing just one tooth, you're like, that person stole those diamonds. You gotta have all of them, man. Yeah, because if you're missing one tooth, you might as well be missing all of them. Even if you go out, you're like, no, it's the one on the side, no one sees, but we see eventually. It's a big reveal. I remember one time I was talking to someone and I was on this side of him and I didn't see he was missing one of these. And we talked for like an hour. And he was like an interesting guy. We talked about a lot of interesting stuff and then he turned and I saw he was missing a tooth. And I was like, I don't believe anything he just said. I think I was just talking to one of those conspiracy theorists. You need all your teeth, man. It's important. Good chompers. Yeah, it's good. It's been a good couple weeks of comedy. I think it was like last week or 2 weeks ago. Dave Chappelle did a show in an arena in San Francisco, and Elon Musk joined him on stage. And I just want to let you know, I don't want to disappoint anyone, but that won't be happening tonight. And if that does happen, we will both be very surprised. Oh my God. What an amazing man. That's his face. Isn't that weird? Richest man in the world, and that's what they gave him. Keep your face, you guys. Don't mess around. Because he has all the money, and that's what they gave him. And also, don't feel bad. I can't punch any higher than Elon Musk, okay? I'm not punching down. He is doing great. He's on top of the world. You know, he's doing good. We're kind of all trying to decide where we're going. You know, California seems to be splitting up into two groups, and we got to choose who we're going to be. You know? There's only two groups that are growing. We got to choose. Are we going to be homeless or billionaires? And my friends and I, we talk about it. Like, I definitely know which group I'd like to be in. But I know which one's more likely. It's hard. I've been thinking a lot about homeless people and billionaires. They're pretty much the same. They're pretty much the same. If you take away like the money and the fancy, they're the same person. We even look at them the same, you know? Like neither group has a lot of friends. Generally, we look down on them, you know? And if we do feel bad for like a second, we think about it, we're like, no, they chose this, you know? And they all say the same things. They all say the same wild stuff. I can control the weather. You know? I'm gonna buy Twitter. Like that's. Was that a billionaire or some guy outside of Starbucks just yelling that into the street? It's the same guy. Congrats to the local La Jollans that live here. You guys did it. Congrats. You did, or someone with your last name? Someone did it. That's excellent. I grew up in the trailer park, so I'm a little bitter, you know? Not too much, but just enough. Like, you ever meet someone who, like, you ever think of, like, those trust fund babies that don't have to work? And they're just on a yacht somewhere, doing cocaine with strippers. And you're like, why? And it's like, oh, me? Oh, my great-grandfather invented the zipper or something. And now for generations, we're just doing okay. I actually looked up the zipper. Did you know some guy invented that? We weren't just born with the zipper. Someone came up with that. It's like an invention that's been around forever. I was looking at the zipper because I had taken an edible, and you ever get on the wrong side of an edible and you're like, am I reading the Wikipedia page for the zipper? I was. The zipper was invented by some guy, and then some other guy weaseled in and took 50%. But I saw the schematics that they sent to the patent office, like what they sent for the zipper. And have you ever looked at an invention from like 100 years ago, and then you're looking at it, but you're like, man, if you put a gun to my head, I couldn't recreate that. That's why I was like looking at the zipper, like it made sense, but it didn't. It just comes together. It was like I was looking into a lava lamp, and I'm like, where did that one come from? You know, like how did... was just blown away. And it was an arrogant invention. We didn't need the zipper. We had buttons. Buttons were doing great. They were doing awesome. Until one guy's like, nah, my penis is gonna fall out of there. I need something more sturdy. It's not as arrogant as the scarf. The scarf might be the most arrogant piece of clothing they have. The scarf, like I bought a scarf for the first time last year because I was going to do a show in Chicago and it was freezing and my fiance was like, you're going to need a scarf. So I ordered one off Amazon, it showed up, and I didn't know there's so many ways to fold a scarf. I thought you just put it on and waft it and go about your business, right? And the back whips in the wind like the Red Baron, and that's how you wear a scarf. And I found out that's not how you wear a scarf. And she told me there's all these different ways to fold it. You like put it in and then it comes out. And I realized there's no way to wear a scarf without it just looking like your father owns all the railroads. Like, this is highfalutin. Too much. But yeah, it's very nice to be here. This weekend's my first shows back in the States. My fiance and I, we vacationed in Asia for 2 weeks. Yeah, we were in Bangkok, Thailand, and Bali, and we came back on Monday, and this is the longest stretch of time I've had diarrhea. So I'm sorry to bring that up. I hope no one's eating. I apologize, but that's what's going on with me. Okay? Maybe on the way here, you guys stopped at a bar, got a couple drinks, get pepped up for the show. I stopped at a CVS. And I came back with Pepto and anti-diarrheal pills. And so you'll notice while I'm up here, I'm not going to move a lot, okay? What you're seeing right now, this is about where I'm going to live for the next hour. Feet are planted. This is where I live. It's not going to be a lot of excitement. It's just going to be a lot of, hello. Because you never know. You think you're fine, and then you're like, no, you're not. And I've been doing comedy for a long time, and I will die before that happens to me on stage. So I will be nice and steady. I was so sad that I got sick out there in Thailand because I ate all the food. You know, I wanted to be like Anthony Bourdain. You know, I don't think he was really there. There's no way. I was just eating street food and skinny jeans, and he was okay. I'm calling bullshit. I did that one day, 2 weeks, done. Here we are on week 3, and I'm like, really? Yeah, someone just made a fart noise. That is a 10 o'clock show right there. Is that you? I thought it was, oh, that's so funny. I thought it was like the younger dude there. This guy looks like he owns a business. You look like you own multiple businesses. I'm the head of the PTA, and then here he is in the back of a strip mall at 11 o'clock at night, going, you're my favorite person. I love that. Never change. Never change. Don't let the world change you, you know? Yeah, but that's where I'm at. It's not good. Not a good spot. Yeah, it was, Thailand was cool. They have, I got to know the bathrooms really well there. And thankfully I was staying at a really nice hotel. We were staying at this place called La Meridian. And it only cost like $100 a night, but it was like the nicest hotel room I've ever stayed in. It was gorgeous. They had robes and slippers. And they had one of those toilets that does it all for you. I don't know if you've even heard of this, but over in Asia, they got fancy toilets where you hit a button and they just get you. You know? They get you all prepped for life. You don't have to get back there. That's none of your business what's going on back there. You just sit down and do it. You hit a button. They're like, get on out of here, buddy. You're doing great. And it's a little intimidating, okay? Because I didn't know that's what I was getting into. I sat down, and then I looked on the wall, and there's all these buttons with pictures that let you know what's going to go on back there if you hit this button. So now, naturally, I'm a human, so like I'm like curious, but also afraid at the same time, you know, because you're like, oh, what if I love it? You know, like, what if this changes my life? Like, I can't go back. What if I'm gonna miss work? So I'm just at home, just nailing this button. And it starts easy. Like there's different levels of how crazy you want to get with it. And I just started at a nice low level, you know? First day at the gym, we're not burning it out, yeah? Just, you know, do a little cardio, maybe a little Stairmaster, nothing crazy. And then slowly we just worked it up, and I was just like, this is great. It was wonderful. It was like, sometimes I would sit on the toilet, didn't even have to go. Just you know, just like that afternoon coffee. Just a little something, pep in my step, thank you, sir. On with my life. And they even have a fan in the back. There's a heater back there, so when you're done washing it, they dry it. And I'm like, I didn't even, that's legal? I love it. I loved it. And the aim on that thing is magnificent, spot on, bullseye, just bang. We didn't even, this thing doesn't even know my name. And it knew me for a minute. And he's like, there you are. And you're like, wow, who came up with that? That was an engineer. Someone went to school for a long time. And they used all that knowledge on, yep, there it is. What a hero. What a hero that person is, whoever invented that toilet. Because not only did they have the idea, not only did they have the science to put it together, but then they had to get investment money. That means someone like walked into like a Shark Tank situation with a prototype that was probably just a toilet seat with like a water gun and a hairdryer glued to it. All right, Mark Cuban, take your pants off. We're about to make $1 billion. That's what you came here for, you guys. Highbrow comedy. Toilets. Sorry, that was my life. I share. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching my video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you liked it, shared it, subscribed to it, hit the notification bell, do all the things YouTube makes you want to do. Other than that, I wanted to let you know that I'm constantly on tour, so go to my website, zoltancomedy.com, and see if I'm coming to a town near you. Thank you kindly.
I like it, man. This is good Bakersfield energy. Got some people here look like they just got out of work. Like, hey, you guys are doing shit. Yeah, right? Is that your energy? You're like, yeah, I did just get out of work. I'm sorry, it's Friday, you know? I would have came here on Saturday, but it didn't work out that way. And this feels like you guys had a long 40 hours. Work, I feel that energy right now. I get it. I understand. What do you do for work? You look like you do something serious. You're in high school. All right. Well, it looks like it's rough out there. I'll say that. High school's tough. I get it. Man, I couldn't tell. I'm sorry. It's because of the, you know? I thought you were already on your second divorce. I thought you had kids going on at home. I didn't know. I apologize. It's a good thing. It's good to look more mature. You look more mature. I would like give you the keys to my car. Be like, can you park? Like that's a responsible person right there. He has a mortgage. He's trying to make sure to pay. It's been a long 18 years. I like. What's your name, man? Tyler. Make it loud for Tyler. He's in high school. So good to be here. Wow, that's a hot start to the show. Just came out, first person I talked to, completely insulted. I apologize so much. That is not my style of comedy. That's not what I do. I don't come out and go, did you ever notice this about yourself? You know? And I know that's hot right now. That's really hot right now in comedy. It's not really what I do. I try to just give compliments. Are you going to be okay? Are you going to be all right? I just saw you holding your temples. I'm like, wow. This, I like it. It's a lot of speakers for comedy, isn't it? So, you know, after this, we got a Motley Crue cover band coming up here, and don't be more excited for that than me. I made that up. That's not gonna happen. You're getting me. Hot start, man. We just drove in today. Me and Rui, who you just saw, we came in last night. We had a show in San Francisco. And then we made that drive here. I don't know if you've ever made that drive, but good Lord. Yeah, that's the closest I've ever been to suicide. That is a long drive. Oh my God. And nothing in between. Nothing. You're like, as soon as you leave, you're like, get ready for this. It's straight and sad. Are you ready for no turns and sadness? Are you ready for that? 4.5 hours. Just, yep, there it is. And people trying to pass you? For what? Oh, is your exit next? Are you? Is that what it is? You live in this field of nothing? Is that? What are you passing me for? We should all be pegged at 80, and that should be it. What are you late for work? Calm down. It's us and a bunch of truckers. That's all it is. You're late on the laugh. I like it. I like it. Everyone's a little off in this room. Everyone. It's a lot of people. I feel it. Some of you get a check in the mail. I like it. Some people get a check in the mail to hang out. It's good. I'm looking at your faces. There's still some I got to win over. I can tell. We're doing our best out there. It's hard. We got 2 cats out there in New York. We got a couple cats. Yeah, Jessica lives with my ex-wife. I'm sorry to say. Sorry, I just made everybody sad. All right. And by everybody, I mean these 4 people and those people just staring at me going, we don't care about your cats. And I like that mixture. I love Jessica too. She's doing wonderful. She's still chubby and unhealthy, and she still eats whatever she wants. She lives at my ex-wife's house. You want me to say Jessica? Is that what you want? There it is. All right. I like that. Thank you. Okay. That was the most uncomfortable thing I think I've ever had happen. I don't know if you ever had someone down there. I want you to say Jessica. Jessica. I'm so sorry. I apologize. I'm not a part of this. I apologize. You're a good dude. What grade are you in high school? You're a junior in high school. You got one more, and then hell yeah. All right. Do you already know what you're doing after high school? What's your plan?
Game warden.
Game warden?
Fishing game.
Fishing game? I know what that is. Whoa, dude. I'm telling you, I wasn't wrong. You got the heart and soul of a 45-year-old man. I like it, though. Thank you. Thank you for being out there and gaming and warding. Yeah? We need that. We need more young people involved in fish and game. I'm sure that was a program they had in middle school where they're like, who's interested in fish and game? And everyone's like, no. And he's like, actually, I want that hat.
I have no idea how serious you are about that.
I felt like everything I've said, he's like, yeah, absolutely. I can feel it.
35 at 17.
I love it. That's good. It's good to be an old soul. I was like that too. Now it's kind of leveled out, where I'm still an old soul, but I still don't own a house, so it's weird. It's weird to be an old soul and a renter, where you're like, the landlord should fix that. Should get in here. That faucet's a little loose. That's good. I'm happy for you. Do some fishing and gaming and warding.
He's an 18-year-old snitch.
He's an 18-year-old snitch?
Yeah.
That's a weird. All right, I don't know why. Listen, we're all on your side. Everything's fine. We clearly get what happened. You grew up a wild child at 18, and you ended up with the kid that's like, I'm following all the rules. Because every kid rebels against their parents. That's normal. So if you got a parent that was like, woo, where's the party at? You're like, I'm studying. I gotta wake up tomorrow. You were partying. You had young Sheldon at home, is what you had. Fish and game version. Hell yeah. Hey there. Thank you so much for watching my video. Is this too close? We're keeping it. Thank you so much for watching my video. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that good stuff. Also, I'm going to be on tour all year, 2024. Might be the last one. So, go to zoltancomedy.com, look at the tour schedule. If you don't see your town, sign up for my mailing list. I promise I'm going to try to come, and I'll see you out there on the road. He has so much energy, Trump has like the energy of like a divorce guy. You ever hang out with a guy who's like newly divorced? He's like, buddy, I'm living my life. I'm going on a trip. I just signed up for jujitsu. I'm on it's like, dude, calm down. Like, enjoy. Sit with your feelings a little. No, I'm gonna destroy the Department of Education. I'm kicking everybody out of my house.
It's my house. We're cutting these kids off. You know? He just has the energy of a divorce guy. And so it's interesting to watch, man. It is. It's interesting to watch. Like that whole thing with Zelensky where they yelled at him. That was... My wife and I watched that together, and I was like, this is what happens when you don't have a TV in the living room. Like, that's what... Like, they didn't have a... They need to put a TV in the Oval Office, and I think... Like, you ever been in a living room without a TV? It was someone's, like, family... And then you're like, what are you asking for an argument? Because sure enough, it's going to happen. There's a bunch of people sitting around that don't usually talk to each other. And then you just go, what do you mean by that? But then there's a TV on, and you're like, wow, I love this commercial. Dude, have you seen the Geico? Have you seen it? A nice little commercial that'll break up any kind of steam. We're here, yeah. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming out. This is wonderful. Thank you so much for showing up. Stanford. I didn't know this many people lived here. I'll say that. I didn't know this many people lived in Stanford that they're like, we could fill this room up. Every time I come through Connecticut, I don't know what's going on. I'll be honest. It seems like a secret. Like it's either like a busy city part where you're like, I don't think so. I don't know. And then you go out into then you get out of the towns, and it's just like, well, this is all haunted. Like, what is this? So it's either like haunted or too much, and there's like, is there a medium? There isn't. It's either a farmhouse churning butter, living with the ghosts of your ancestors, or just this. Okay, all right. It's either watch out for this buggy and a horse, or let's valet park. Let's do that. There's no in between in Connecticut. Thank you all for coming out. I love the setup of the stage. I love the gap here. Just like, it's like a splash zone setup. It just feels like whatever's going on, I'm the one that has it. And they're like, just let them be over there. We'll put one table very close. Just one table. Did those tickets cost less? Were they less? Be like, listen, there's two of them. You're going to be real close, but you will be alone. It'll just be you two and everyone else facing you going, why are they sitting so close? It just feels like you guys scooted your chairs up. Like, I don't like, scoot up. Just scoot up. We'll get up close. These people didn't do it. You're so far away. Man. Whoever did the seating in this place took a night off. I like it. They're like, I got an idea. It's very avant-garde. It's like those architects that build buildings, and you're like, how's that standing? There's like one in New York that's like an infamous building. Mike was telling me about it last night, where it was too thin. Like, it's just a straight-up building, and the wind, not good. And they didn't think about that. Like, that guy's still an architect somewhere. Like, that guy just left that job. Now he's designing another disaster somewhere. And so, yeah, that's how it goes. I like how when the laughs end, they really end right there, too. That's a real off-a-cliff drop-off. So we moved back, and we're back to visit. We've been here for a week, and it's been nice. I love it. I had like a homeless guy lunge at me. That was fun. I like it. I missed it. No one does that in San Diego. there's no lunging. You know, just to wake you up. You don't need a coffee after that. On your way to a coffee shop, someone's like, hey, you know. Well, by the way, that was my response right there. It was yeah. Just a polite, I see you too, buddy. How are you? I realized, like, if that guy hit me, it would have taken so long to respond. Like, some people have, like, quick reflex. I don't have, like, my reflexes are, huh? Like, I think that guy could have hit me 10 times before I realized I was in a fight. Like, you need to be quicker, you know? And I'm just not, I don't do any of that. We did it, we had fun. We went to some brunch spot. I forget the name. All the restaurant names are getting out of control. We went to, like, I think the Farmer's Daughter or something. I kind of miss when restaurants were just the guy's name. Remember that? Like, oh, yeah, come on into DeMilly's. And then the owner was like, I'm DeMilly.
And you're like, oh, I get it, because the name. You know, but now it's just like the farmer's daughter, the butcher's apprentice, and just the maitre d's attorney. Why don't you come over here? The goat's ex-wife, like, come over here and have a, and you're like, I don't even, just call it a restaurant. But yeah, we went to one of those and it was fine. And then we tried to go to the MoMA, the Museum of Modern Art, and we're like, I'd like to look at some art. And then you see how many people are there and you're like, I'll just buy a hat. I like it. That's one of the rare museums where the gift shop is by the entrance, where you have the choice of seeing the line of tourists that are going in, or you can just go get a hat and tell people that you went and checked out the MoMA. And that's what we did. I don't like a bunch of people at my art museum. That's for me. You know, I need space. I need to look at the art. I need to feel it. I don't need to see someone's head just creeping in. It's so bizarre. You ever look at a piece of art too long and you kind of get sucked in, and then you zoom out and you're like, oh my God, there's people next to me. Ugh, get away from me. Are we both having the same moment? Yuck. I don't know. Like, I also like to go to museums alone. I go with my wife or by myself. Like, I don't like to go with a group of friends. A lot of groups of friends like to go to museums. And I don't like it because I got nothing to say about the art. You know, I just look at it. That's all I do. But I don't want to talk about it. I don't want anyone to go, oh, what do you think he was feeling when he painted this? It's like, dude, don't turn this into a book report. Let me just enjoy the art. I'm looking at it. I just don't know how to describe my joy. That's all. Let me just enjoy the damn art. Like, well, last time we went to an art museum with friends, it was my wife's friend and her boyfriend that had to be friends with me. If you've never been, you know how that goes, where like they hit it off and then you guys are like, well, we have to like each other because they like each other. And we all went to an art museum together. We went to the Whitney in New York, and the first painting was ceiling to floor, wall to wall, just a real specimen of a piece. And I was looking at it and I was like, wow. And then the dude walked up to me. He's like, pretty impressive, huh? And I'm like, yeah, it's so big. Like, that's what and then as soon as I heard it, I'm like, did I just call the art big? Is that what I did? And then thankfully it was an art museum, so my voice just echoed through the giant hall. It's so big, big, big. And he's like, big? And I'm like, yeah. So then I had to explain why I called it big, and I was like, wow, you could tell this is the artist's later work, you know? Like, he probably had to sell some smaller ones until he could afford a canvas. I don't know if you know how much canvases are. They're pretty high to... Buddy, have you been to a Michaels? It is... You'll be surprised, you know? You ever go to a Michaels and you're like, I'm going to get into painting, and then you're like, that's fine. I didn't know that's what brushes cost. Good Lord. That's why these artists are starving. I'll tell you what. And so anyway, I'm just talking about the art being big, and and he just drifted away from me during the conversation. And my wife showed up, and she's like, what's wrong, baby? And I was like, I just called the art big. And she's like, it is pretty big. And I'm like, I love you. Like, thank you for being on my team. That's what you need sometimes. You just need someone that's on your team, you know? That's why, like, I noticed, like, my wife and I are perfect for each other when we went to the Whitney, because there was a piece of art that was made with real reclaimed burnt wood. It was like wood that was in a fire, and it said in a plaque next to the art, like, hey, this was made of real burnt wood. And my wife went up, she read the plaque, and then she's like, that's real burnt wood. And I was like, you're my soulmate, baby. I think we're meant to be. You and I are supposed to know each other, you know. So we've had a good time. Last night was pretty wild. It's nice to be here in Stanford. Last night we were in Long Island somewhere. I'd never been to Long Island, and it was a very cool club, old-timey club, and it was run by, like, the mob, I think. That's what I like about the East Coast. There's still, like, stuff where, like, I think that guy's in the mob. And even if you politely bring it up, they go, hey, like, it's kind of like... They don't give you a yes or a no. They're just like it was this dude. He was Italian. He was probably in his 50s or something. Slick back, grease back hair. He's wearing a purple suit with a black turtleneck. Oh, and he had a cane and shiny shoes. And he's like, I just had knee surgery. I'm like, that guy got shot in the knee. Is what happened. There's no way that guy had knee surgery. That was from a bullet that he took to the knee. And he paid me in cash, which was insane. Just a dirty envelope of cash. And he's like, it's all there. And I'm like, all right, like he was real, but I couldn't tell. It was like what like a Disney movie thought a mobster was in like the 80s. You know, you watch like All Dogs Go to Heaven. I don't even remember if there was a mobster in that movie, but if there was, it would have been, oh, remember Oliver and Company? Remember that one? The mobster from that cartoon paid me cash in an envelope. And I was like, how do I even tell my agent about this? Like, I was just thinking of the taxes. I'm like, well, I got to pay him 10%. Do I just take out some of that? And I go, we're all off the books here, I think is what we're doing. I like that. That doesn't even happen anymore. It's good to get a little piece of danger, you know? That's what I like. That's honestly my favorite part of traveling. I don't want anything to ever happen to me, but I like the fear of it. I like the sense of a little bit of, ooh, you know, just a little something. Like I used to work cruise ships, and I used to hate working on them, but every once in a while we'd go through like a storm, and I'm like, yeah, dude, take it down. But don't, but maybe, you know, like, but just that in between, yeah, it was good. Like that's the feeling. Remember the asteroid that was gonna hit? That was the feeling, like, yeah, dude, every day would be like 2%, now 3%. I'm like, nice, dude. It's just like this relief. Isn't it nice to know there's an end? You know, like, you ever read a book that you're enjoying and you stop and then you see how many pages are left and you're like, I can do this. No? All right. Even when I enjoy reading, I like to know how many pages are left because I'm like, all right, we can get through that. That's what the asteroid did for me. They're like 7 years, and I'm like, yeah. I don't think past 7 years. I think 5 years. Like my wife, she plans. She's like, what's your 5-year plan? I'm like, what? I only plan out as far as I have shows on the calendar, and then I don't know. I might have to get a job. I don't. It's nice to know there's an asteroid coming, you know? Like, man, I gotta finish The Yard, you know? There's only 7 years to enjoy The Yard. I'm trying. I don't know. But it's been fun. We've been having fun. My wife and I have been traveling, which I never did growing up because we grew up poor. You grow up poor, you don't travel. You might see a theme park once. Like, I grew up in Southern California. Like, we're going to Disneyland again, you know? And they're like, are you going? I'm like, yeah, we went. And that was it. Like, it wasn't, like, with my mother, it wasn't that she would get mad for me bringing it up. I just knew that's where you put that. Hell yeah, it's all right. That's fine. See, the tables are too snug. If they would move them up a little bit, that guy would have had room to slip out, but they're all just crammed so far away. You guys, that's why no glasses are breaking here, because you guys shimmied up to the front. I'm telling you, whoever designed this room is laughing somewhere. Can't believe the check cleared, you know? Not because they don't have money. I just meant because of the design that he left. All right. I saw one person's face, and I'm like, oh, they didn't get the joke. I have to explain, but yeah. Yeah, we've been traveling, and like growing up, I would never ask my mom, like, hey, can we go to Disneyland again? She would just be like, why? We did it. You remember? We have pictures. We had pictures printed at the CVS. Here are the photos. There you are at Disneyland. And it's like, you don't need to go see it again. But now, you know, and then you get, they're like, you got to travel in your 20s. I didn't have any money in my 20s. We didn't travel anywhere. And then now I'm in my later 30s, and now we got some money, so I'm like, let's go. But it's kind of too late. You know, like, I don't have the excitement. It's not that great. I don't. Like, before we go on a trip, we watch, like, YouTube videos on what to prepare for, and then we get there, and I'm like, man, those videos were clear. It's not even better. It's better at home on the YouTube, because then when you're done, you're at home. When we were done with Germany, we were still in Germany. And I'm like, man, this is a long-ass flight home. We gotta go through customs. I could have just
Learned a lot. Had to, it's educational. We were in Germany, so we went, we checked out some of the Nazi museums. That's important when you go. I feel like it's wrong to go and not do some of that. You're like, you should do that. That's important. And so we went to like an administration building that the Nazis used in Cologne, and then that's now a museum. And we went and like we were listening to all the history and stuff. And then they said that, like, in the 30s, the Nazis took over this building. They signed a lease, and then they rented the building. And I was just, I couldn't. That's not what I thought they did. I didn't think they signed leases. I thought they just came in and they're like, this is ours now, and guns and kicking and stuff. And no, and then so I was just telling my wife, I'm like, can you believe that they signed? Like they came in with references and uns building for rent? No, like it's and then the landlord's like, you guys seem like a couple good chaps. I think I'm gonna rent you the building, And I just couldn't get beyond it, and I kept bringing it up. My wife's like, you're missing a lot of the tour. You gotta get over the fact that they rented this building. And I'm like, it's just I don't know. It's such a small part that I'm like, how? They're so, I don't know.
Hello, this is Zoltan Kaszas, and the year is 2025. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that mind-blowing? If you were just sent in from the past to the future, and this is how you're finding out the year, I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. What the hell am I talking about? The point of this is I am on tour all year. It's what I do. A bunch of cities. I'm very excited to hit them all. If you'd like to see if I'm coming to a town near you, go to my website, zoltancomedy.com. There also might be a link in this video, maybe right over my eyes. I don't know what the editor is going to do with this. It could be in the description, what have you. But if it's not, zoltancomedy.com. Hit the shows tab, go down the list of shows, see if I'm coming to a town near you, and come see me so I can continue being a comedian, and I don't have to go get a job where I'm a horrible employee. I've been told many times by numerous bosses. So please. I don't know. I love doing comedy. It's my favorite thing to do. When I'm not doing comedy, I don't really do anything except hang out. I love sports. I'm a sports guy. Got any sports people in here? You a sports fella? Yeah. What's your favorite sport?
Football.
You like football? Yeah. I just don't. Is that Raiders?
Raiders, baby!
That's my buddy Eddie. All right, yeah! I used to work with that man. We sold velour tracksuits together off of Sepulveda. I used to live here back in 2007, 2008, 2009, and the one good friend I made was Eddie. And thank you, buddy. Yeah. I got hired. I remember that I was working at Sears Automotive changing oil over on 4th and Colorado in Santa Monica. That's a condo now. But back in 2007, they had a mechanic shop there, Sears Automotive. And did you know that they hire mechanics without experience? Yeah, I got hired, and I don't know anything about cars. And they had a Craigslist ad that said no experience necessary, and I'm like, that's me. I was 21, I had 0 experience, and they trained me for 2 weeks. I was on a computer, and I would just skip through the tutorials, because I'm like, it's boring. I didn't even compute what this means, and then after 2 weeks, they're like, oh, you finished? Yeah, get out there. Start working on the cars, and I was like, oh, damn. I did not pay attention to that. I kind of treated them like, the safety and sexual harassment videos they show you when you start a new job. You're like, I get it. Don't be a creep, I understand. But this was about changing oil and tires and batteries. This was important stuff, and I did nothing. And I worked there for about a month, and I was so bad at it. One time I changed the differential oil, which I didn't even know what that was. I learned that day what that was. It was an Escalade, and Escalade had more stuff under there than the other cars that I was used to. And I'm like, that looks like the oil pan. And I opened it, and I'm like, that doesn't look like oil. It doesn't smell like oil. Then I called this other guy over, Rich. He just had gold in his mouth. He had no original teeth. And so that's how you knew he knew stuff. And I was like, Rich, what did I do here? And he goes, oh, that's the differential. You fucked up. I'm like, that's what he said.
Those were his exact words. And I was like, oh no. And I was like, I'm guessing that's more expensive than oil? He's like, that's the most expensive fluid. I was like, well, it's in the thing now. And they still didn't fire me. They just kept me around. And then I saw a job interview for Sweatcedo. It was a velour tracksuit company. And it was close to my house, and they were paying $12 an hour, which at Sears Automotive, I was only making $9. And I'd never made $12 an hour before. That was the most amount of money I was ever going to make per hour. Until Comedy Now. Like, Comedy Now, I make more than $12 an hour. But even Comedy then, it wasn't $12 an hour. It was chicken wings. I got paid in chicken wings. So, $12 an hour, I was like, I got to get this job. And the dude, Rich, that runs it, he looked like Colonel Sanders. Like, he bleached his hair and his goatee. So I was interviewed by a guy dressed like Colonel Sanders wearing a loud velour tracksuit. And I'm like, I'm not getting this job. And then he goes, your name's really Zoltan? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I want a Zoltan to work here. And I got the job. That's amazing. I love Hollywood. This is so good. You just get here on looks and name alone, you know? And he told me, he's like, I only hired you because of your name. Like, that's amazing. I'm running a velour tracksuit company. We can't have a Gary back there. We got a Zoltan back there. So I worked in the back with Eddie, and Eddie would customize the velour tracksuits for names and stuff, and I would pack the orders. And I was so bad at all of it, man. There's so many times where I put the wrong tracksuits in the wrong boxes and they got mailed to the wrong people. I'm just bad at work. Like I tell people all the time, this is the only thing I've ever been even kind of good at. And people are always like, no, you have more to offer. And then I tell them some of these stories and they're like, yeah, stick with this, man. You can do it, dude. Like, I believe in you, you know? But yeah, that was good times working at the velour tracksuit company. They're doing good. Okay. That was the end of that story. Very much enjoyed it. Never good at any of my jobs. They would keep me around because I was funny. Like, I worked at a medical supply warehouse in Orange County. And I remember one time, I turned 21, and I wanted to go to Vegas to celebrate my 21st birthday, so I scheduled the trip 6 months in advance. And then, like a month before my trip, they're like, we're having a mandatory inventory on that Friday that I was supposed to leave. And I told my manager, I was like, dude, I already booked the hotel. It's my 21st birthday, I'm going to Vegas with my friends. He's like, it's a mandatory inventory, you have to be there. And I was just like, I had a moment of self-righteousness. I'm like, I ain't coming. I'm only turning 21 once, and I'm staying at the Stratosphere Hotel. I'm gonna go have a great time in Las Vegas. And so I didn't go. And then I came back that Monday, and my buddy Robert that was working there, he's a good buddy of mine, he got called into the office, and they fired him. And he came by, and he's like, I got fired, and he said goodbye to everyone that left. And I go, what'd you do? And he goes, I was an hour late to inventory. And they fired him. And I was like, I didn't show up at all. And then for the rest of that day, I was just waiting to get fired. I was just waiting. I'm like, maybe now. Maybe they're going to let me have lunch. And then they're going to fire me. Maybe after lunch, they'll fire me. And then they never fired me. And then the next day I came back, and then I'm just waiting. And I'm like, they're still not firing me. And then Wednesday, still nobody's firing me. And then one of the assistant managers I was good with, and I was like, hey man, you guys fired Robert. And I'm like, yeah, he was an hour late to inventory. And then he goes, and then he realized, he goes, you didn't even show up? And I was like, shut up, dude. Like, I don't think people have noticed that I wasn't here. And he goes, I'll look into it. I'm like, not too hard, but just bring it up lightly, you know? And so the next time they had a big managers meeting, Jason Clark, this big dude, he was like the foreman of the whole warehouse, he brought it up. This dude brought it up, and he goes, hey man, you fired Robert for being late to inventory. Zoltan didn't even show up. And Jason goes, Zoltan? He's hilarious. We can't fire him. And that was an exact quote. And I remember I called my mom up and I told her that, and my mom's Hungarian communist, like blue-collar worker, and she was so sad to hear that I've been able to entertain my way into a job.
not good to be the best employee. Just be the most likable, you know? Show up late, but make people laugh. And they're like, no, he's good for morale, you know? It makes people like being here. It's true. It's true. Like, if I had a company and this dude was 15 minutes late every day, but, like, he made people chuckle, he'd be like, all right. He's a good guy. It's also saving us money. We don't have to pay him for that 15 minutes. I actually said that to my manager once. He goes, Zoltan, you've been 15 minutes late every day for 2 weeks. And I go, yeah, but I'm clocking in then too, so I'm still getting the same amount of work done, and I'm saving you guys, like, how much time a week? And he goes, just show up on time. Solid points, man. I just don't have the work ethic. My mom, she has the work ethic. My mom's communist, Hungarian. And I got a job. The proudest she ever was of me was in high school. I quit the football team to get a job as a waiter at a retirement home. And she was so proud of me. She's like, oh, my boy is going to work. Oh, her heart was so full. I'd bring home like an A on a test and she'd be like, that's nice. But when I got a job, she almost cried. She's like, my boy is going to go to work. Oh. And then I'd come home, I came home after that first week and I'm like, I hate my job. And she goes, Zoli, just think about your paycheck. And I'm like, that ain't helping. It's not doing anything for me. She's like, that's what you have to just think about your paycheck. And I'm like, I just didn't have that mentality. I've never been motivated by money. I think that's why comedy was so lucrative to me. It was so enticing. They're like, there's no money over here, come on over. I'm like, hell yeah. You had me there, man. You guys are a good group, man. I really appreciate you coming out to this show. You know, it's Friday the 13th. You walked up, you saw the building, you saw the clientele, and you walked in, and I appreciate that. There's plenty of times, man, especially in this city, there's plenty of times when no one would come to see me, you know? This is new, man, I appreciate that. I remember I used to do bringer shows at the Comedy Store when I was working at the Santa Monica Sears Automotive. I used to do bringer shows, and what a bringer show is they let you go on stage if you bring people to the show. And I didn't know anybody. Like one time I had my mom drive up from San Diego and go, you gotta come up, otherwise they won't let me perform at the Comedy Store. So she drove up and sat through an entire show, and then they put me on at the end because I only brought one person. And she was like the only one left in the audience. And she still laughed. She was like, she's so damn supportive, you know? And I remember one time I was at the mechanic shop, I was doing oil changes, and I was trying to get over to the show at the Comedy Store, the bringer show. And I showed up, and no one was there to see me, and the horrible person that was running the show was like, well, you don't get to go on stage because no one came to see. So I ran outside, and I just like was begging people to come in. And this one guy was just walking by himself down the Sunset Strip. I'm like, excuse me, do you want to come in and see the show? And he was like a Norwegian tourist or something. And he's like, what? I don't know, I can't do accents, but you know what these people sound like. What? Working, dorking? I don't know. You know, you get it, right? I'm not an accent guy. That's not why you came, okay? You weren't like, oh, this guy's accents are through the roof. No. He's over there in lederhosen and suspenders. Working, dorking. Stroganoff or whatever he said. And I was like, excuse me, can you please come into the club so I can go perform? They won't let me perform if I don't get someone in there. And he was like, I don't know. I was like, I'll buy your ticket and I'll buy your 2 drinks. Just come on in. And then he came in, I had to buy him a ticket and 2 drinks, so that's $30 out the door. And to go on stage in front of pretty much him and like 4 other people. And at the end, he was like, that was great, working, dorking. And like, so that's my relationship with the city, is oil changes and velour tracksuits and Eddie and a Norwegian tourist that came in to see my show. So for the fact that 50 people showed up, I really appreciate that. So thank you very much. Man, you guys are great. It means a lot. I'm gonna wrap up with just a couple more jokes, and then we'll go to Chick-fil-A or something. Or I don't know, whatever is nearby. Shots. Oh, shots? Eddie, you have not changed. This is who you were back then. I love it.
to get some shots. He used to smoke weed at work while working on the velour tracksuits. He had me do it once. He's like, you do it. And then I couldn't work. I just stared at a wall. I'm like, you gotta pack these boxes, man. And that guy didn't fire me because he's like, I gotta have the Zoltan in my velour tracksuit. What a wild ride.
Try a bunch of new things. I don't like trying new things because I usually get hurt. That's the problem. I get hurt or sick. I just have bad luck. I don't know what it is. Like every time I try to be adventurous, the world is like, see? This is why you shouldn't. Like I remember in Mexico, a few years ago, I crashed a scooter in Mexico, and I shouldn't be on a scooter. I shouldn't be on 2 wheels. I need 4 wheels at all times. 4 wheels. All the time. But I made a new friend. You ever make a new friend and they have a suggestion and you don't want to seem lame, so you just go along with it? That's what happened. We were flying home that day and I made a new friend. And he's like, hey, you want to rent some scooters? Go around the island? I'm like, hell yeah! Let's go rent some scoots. Let's get out there. And because I thought there would be like a tutorial video or something. Because one time I rented jet skis and they made us watch like a 15-minute VHS on how to work a jet ski, and they had all this safety gear, and I was like, that's what I thought this was going to be, and it wasn't. We just went to a shack, and a little Mexican man threw keys at us, and that was the end of the seminar. That was the whole thing, and it was so bad. Like, there was no safety gear, there was just a helmet that didn't fit. Like, that's all there was, and once we got out there, like, the helmet, like, the wind took it back, and the little rope would, like, choke me out. That was all of the safety. But I didn't even know how to turn this bike on. I was sitting on the bike trying to turn it on and nothing was happening. My friends were already like doing wheelies and stuff. And I'm like, well, I'm right behind you. And I'm trying to get it going. It's not going. And the little Mexican man that rented it to me, he comes out and he sees I'm having trouble. And he's like, are you good? And I'm like, no, there's no vroom vroom, you know? Because we were speaking broken English and Spanish back at each other. We're trying to understand, but we can't understand. He's like, and I'm like, no vroom vroom. There's no vroom vroom. He's like, oh, vroom vroom. And I'm like, yeah, man, where's the vroom vroom? And he hit a button I didn't see, and the thing fired up. I'm like, yeah, vroom vroom. He's like, see, vroom vroom. And I'm like, is this the brake? And he just shoved me off into traffic. So there I am, downtown Cozumel, Mexico, rush hour traffic. And I could feel in my heart this was gonna end well, you know? It was like watching a horror movie. You're like, when's it coming? I know it's coming, but when? It happened on a right turn. That's when it happened. I made a right turn, and halfway into it I realized, I don't know how to make a right turn. I don't know, there was no training. Am I supposed to drop a knee like it's a sports bike and I'm on like the Grand Prix of Budapest or something? Like, what do you want me to do? So I just made a turn and I was like, wow, we're gonna crash into the median. And my calculations were spot on. I nailed that median. And I went flying. The helmet was on the back of my head, like a concrete yarmulke back there, just holding on. And I crashed. I destroyed half the bike. And I'm not wearing protective gear other than this little bike helmet. So I'm just in shorts and a t-shirt. So I'm bleeding from everywhere, all right? My knee, my hand, really bad. Some of the locals had gathered to cuss at me in Spanish, which is good. That's what you need after an accident. Some hecklers. All right. That's very helpful. So I very quickly tried to pick up the bike and get it out of the street because everyone's yelling at me and I'm bleeding. And I picked it up by the handlebars. Remember, that's the vroom vroom area. Which, can I say, what a piss poor design that is. Maybe some pedals next time. Maybe something away from where I gotta pick it up from. And I went to go pick it up and my hand hit the throttle and this thing shot out of my hands. And it went down half a block without me on it. And I smashed the other side. I destroyed the scooter, you guys. There's no plastic left on it, the mirrors are gone, I'm bleeding. And I walked it back to the rental shack in shame. And the dude who rented it saw me coming. He saw him all messed up, the bike's destroyed, and he ran out with all the English he knew. He just goes, what? What happened? And I was so offended that he would even ask that. I'm like, what do you mean what happened? Like, why didn't you have a tutorial video or something? I could have used a couple blocks, you know, whips around the block before you sent me out there. And so he's like assessing the damage, and he's like, I'm like, how much is this gonna be? And he's like, it's gonna be 10,000 pesos. And I'm like, I don't know how much that is. Like, I don't keep up with the world currency markets, you know? That could be $1, that could be $1 million. I have no idea. And he just kept saying 10,000 pesos, 10,000 pesos. So I just pulled out my Visa and I'm like, well, try that. Give that a try, you know? And he swiped it and I'm like, did it work? And he's like, see? And I'm like, no shit. All right. Apparently I had at least a 10,000 peso limit on the old Visa. We got out of there. Now, if you remember, I said I was flying home that day, so I had to catch a flight after that. I don't know if anyone here has gone to the airport bleeding. It's not ideal, all right? So we hailed a cab, we jump in the back. The driver looks back, sees me all messed up, and he goes, oh, would you rent a scooter? Which that made me feel a little bit better. I'm like, all right, I'm not alone, right? And I had flown out of this airport before, and in Cozumel at this airport, they have a pharmacy, one of those good Mexican pharmacies where they have all the drugs, which is great. You know what they didn't have? Bandages. It's the only pharmacy I've ever been to in the world that didn't have Band-Aids or Neosporin, anything. And she didn't speak any English. I'm like, do you have bandages? And she just kept pointing at like Viagra and like steroids. And I'm like, that's the last thing I need right now. And I'm pantomiming. I'm like, I'm bleeding. I need Band-Aids. And she just kept pointing at the Viagra. I'm like, no! You kidding? I'm about to be on a plane with strangers. Like, that's what you want to add to this problem? No one's going to want to sit next to that guy. Just some dude actively bleeding and super excited about it. Just take a seat. I got some stories, you know? Like, no one wants any of that. So I ended up going to the bathroom and I just wrapped my hand and my leg in toilet paper. So for 5 hours I just sat on an airplane just covered in toilet paper. And that's why I don't do anything. I try to keep things pretty simple. I love Milwaukee. I love it up here. It's like I think it's Wisconsin as a whole. Everyone's friendly, but they look like they have a story. You know? Like, it's a friendliness where you're like, hey, welcome. I live in a boxcar. And you're like, what? Everyone looks like they have a wild story. Like, everyone has all their limbs, but they look like they shouldn't. You know what I mean? I don't know if I can describe that well enough. But just the different people that I've met, I'm like, yeah, all right, yeah. It's so friendly, but also like, okay, yeah. We'll keep an eye, yeah. It's a good, healthy laugh over there. I heard that. It's good. So good to be here, man. I flew in yesterday. We came in yesterday. I'm staying in West Milwaukee, I think. It's over by the baseball stadium. Yeah, that's why I hear the murmurs. I hear what you're murmuring. I heard some people go, and I'm like, I get it, because I'm there. It's fine, but also, I'm like, what is it? You know what it is? It's the Walmart. That's what it is. That's what it is. We couldn't tell because we got coffee at Starbucks. We ate at Popeyes because my fiance and I, Emma, we're chain people. You know, we like to go to the local eatery, but it's way out there. So I'm not going to take an Uber to eat at whatever the hell the local thing is, but I'll go get a Starbucks and be like, Popeye's chicken, sign us up twice, you know? And then we went into that Walmart and I was like, good Lord, what happened to that Walmart? I think before I went there, someone told me, because we went to the Happy Endings Cat Cafe, and the lovely lady that runs it, she's like, oh, you're going to that Walmart? That is the most stolen from Walmart in Milwaukee. And I've never been told that before, going into a store. It's almost like she said, yeah, I mean, pay if you want, but if you just leave, it won't be weird. You know? Like if you just walk out with some contact solution and a thing of toothpaste, it won't be that weird. You know? I like it. I feel like this is the time of year to come, you know? I don't do your winters. I don't do that. I like this. I like it. Yesterday was just cloudy, and this morning was cloudy, and I'm like, I kind of liked it, and then the sun came out, and it just went from cloudy and nice to just sun, and you're like, oh, global warming now. All right. It's like Bill Nye the Science Guy came up and was like, let me show you what global warming feels like. Just sauteed it in there. I don't know if you guys feel about it like I do, but it's weird, man. Like, we just got through a pandemic, and then now global warming, and there's inflation and viruses. Everyone hates each other. I feel like Earth feels like a restaurant that's trying to close. And humanity is that last table in the corner that just isn't getting the hint. Like, the servers are coming around vacuuming, and the house lights are on, and we're just like, what's going on? I think they're trying to close, and we're still here, you know? You laughed way too hard at that in the front. You're with me. It's a little sweaty out there. I love watching it. I watch all the ESPN on the flight out. I watch the Little League World Series. It's my favorite time of year. Love watching the Little League World Series. I don't know what it is I like about it. I like it. I never even played baseball as a kid. I just like it. It's all inclusive. Baseball's so inclusive. Everyone can play. Everybody. There'll be like a chubby kid who weighs like 200 pounds at the age of 12, and he's playing, and there's a kid that weighs 87 pounds, and he's out there playing, and nobody gets hurt. There's no tackle. It's so inclusive. Everybody, there's not that much running. There's just enough of everything to where everyone gets to feel it. I love it. It made me feel good. And I watched Nicaragua play against Curacao, and there was a chubby kid at the plate on the mound. He was pitching, and he was doing a horrible job. He was having a bad game. And I'm not making fun of him, but he couldn't get it over the plate. Like, he started the game. He had the bases loaded in the first inning, all on walks. And he's just there, and I'm watching him just having this rough time. He can't do it. He just can't do it, and he's sweating, you know, but he's staying calm. He's staying calm. And I'm like, I think I'm watching this 12-year-old boy become a man on live television. Like, he just keeps trying, and it's not working, but he's keeping his cool. And I think I'd be such a better person now as an adult if I played baseball as a child, because I think that's where you learn to keep trying and failing, and you just keep going. Because imagine that. He's just out there pitching, and it's not working, and his whole friend group is just behind him watching him bomb one after the other. That is great training for adulthood. Once you get to adulthood, and you're like, I don't have the rent. There it is. I just got laid off. All right. My wife just left. And the whole time your friends are behind him going, good Lord. Let's call a huddle. We need to pep him up. Yeah, man, you're doing great. Just keep trying. Just right. You got it, buddy. Oh, my God. That's great practice for adult life right there. Everyone should be a pitcher as a 12-year-old. I know I can't do it. I can't. I'm 35, and I turned 35 this year. That's a big age for me. Hit 35, and I've realized it's been me all along. You ever make that? I think that's what 35 is for. That's when you realize it's been you. I think in your 20s you have fun, then you hit 30, and you're like, I got to cut these toxic people out of my life. And then you hit 35, and you're like, oh, it was me? It's been me this entire time? Damn it! I could have thought, I swore it was David. And I haven't seen David in 7 years. It's been me this entire time. Doing my best, man, trying to work on it. I don't know.